All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salute and honors to the brothers and sincere brethren of Great Millstone. I wanted to do this video regarding procreation in this day and age, in the time we're in, the day of wrath. It is not wise to procreate. It's not wise to have children, even though the scriptures tell us to be fruitful and multiply. There's a time for everything, time and place. Okay? Matthew 24:19 speaks about, the detriment that a child is going to cause you in that time. Matthew 24:19, and woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Right? That means woe means destruction. Destruction unto them that are with child. So destruction and death is what you'll be met with if you have a child. It says it right here. Because the likelihood of you maneuvering through these end times, when all hell breaks loose in this land, the probability of you surviving what is befalling this place with a child is very low. It says, woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Because that signifies that it's going to be a burden to try to feed that child, So you still, that child's still on the breast. That child still needs, think about it. A child is an infant is at the most vulnerable state that a human being pretty much will be in until they're on their deathbed. An infant is the most vulnerable stage of a human's life. It needs to be fucking cared for at every whim. It needs to be cared for at all times. So think about it. You can't leave an infant alone for fucking 30 seconds. It'll roll off the bed, crack his noggin open. It'll do some shit to kill itself. Like brothers with kids and shit, they talk about, the hard times they had raising their child or their children, because it's a burden. And that the end times, this day that is befalling this place, where we're going to be escaping judgment left and right, is not a time to have to have the burden of a fucking child. Let's get this. It says, let's get that scripture. It says, Amos 5:18, it says, woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand upon the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. So this shows you without a shadow of a doubt, the scriptures are revealing to you that we're going to be escaping judgment from judgment, escaping one judgment to be met with another judgment. Not the elect, but that also it reveals to you the time of hell that is gonna befall this place, and the situations that we're gonna be in, to where we're gonna be maneuvering through dodging fucking turmoil, dodging fucking calamity that's gonna be befalling this place, Natural disasters. Don't you think we're gonna be here in the land when these fucking natural disasters take place? An earthquake, a tsunami, torrential rains, fucking hurricanes, all kind of shit like that. We're gonna be there too, but the only difference is that the Most High, these people are gonna be met with their demise in those calamities, but us, we're gonna have to straight up go through the shit, and Most High willing, if we be of the elect, he's going to deliver us from the calamity. But that doesn't mean that we're going to escape it entirely. We're going to literally go through the shit, and he's going to save us up out of it. So the fear and the destruction that's associated with that, we're going to feel that. Just like the scriptures say, the elect shall be scarcely saved in that day. So it's not wise to have children in this day, right? It's a fucking curse, really, to have a child in the day of wrath. You see it in these movies. They depict that the groups or the people, the couples or the people with children, with small children, they're gonna go out in the first wave. They're gonna get put to death in the first fucking wave. Because they're gonna have a screaming baby, a baby who is literally slowing them down, weighing them down. And then this is going into some completely another topic, but the Most High is gonna have you perform cannibalism on those children, in the form of an ultimate curse, right? So back in Matthew 24:19. And woe unto them that are with child, destruction to you that are with child, death to you, you're done. And to them that give suck in those days, especially the young children, the infants, the newborns. So it would behoove you brothers to wrap up, pull out, do whatever you have to do to ensure that you do not procreate in these times, man. We're in the last fucking days. We're in 2020, man. All right? Matthew 24:38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So it says, okay, so when we start at 37, it says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking. So right here, the scriptures are telling you that in the same fashion that the flood came and destroyed the known world, just as that occurred, in the same fashion, Yahushua is going to come back to destroy this fucking place. He's going to come back in the same exact fashion, meaning as a thief in the night. Meaning while you people are in the midst of your wickedness and folly, right? It says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Just as in these times, we're in the days before the flood. We're in the moments, we're in the seconds before the flood. And you still have Jakes out here trying to procure a fucking wife. When the only woman they should be chasing after is these scriptures. You still got Jake and even Israelites in camps still trying to chase after some rotten crotch when they should be chasing after Sophia, and looking to to have children and have a family and a white picket fence. In 2020, you still have Jakes, even in Great Millstone, that are looking to have and start a fucking family. Okay? When we're called to be doing this work, right? Solely. You know? So, hey, and look at this. It says they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage. When you look at the word marrying and giving in marriage, what is the purpose of marriage? What is marriage? Marriage is the act of sex, of joining a man unto a woman. But what is that purpose? For pleasure or for procreation? Ultimately, I'll argue that ultimately all marriage, any marriage, is for the sole purpose, is for the ultimate purpose. You know, pleasure might be a secondary or back end purpose for it, but the primary purpose of marriage, of coming together with the broad, is to bring forth children, right? So that tells you right here that that's not wise. It's telling you that for as in the days that were before the flood, that just as in these times, these people are these, you know, you Jakes looking to fucking get married, you know. Let's get this in, it's not that time, right? Let's get this in Ecclesiastes 3. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun, under the heaven, Shalakia. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. So right now and in the coming events that is going to befall this world is nothing but destruction and death, you know? And that's the time we're entering in. And just as we're coming into that time, that means we are exiting the time to be fruitful and multiply. We are not no longer, and we haven't for a while been in the time to be fruitful and multiply, right? We're in the time of wrath. This is the day of wrath. We're in the seconds and moments leading up to the great tribulation. We're in the seconds and moments leading up to all the calamities that the Most High prophesied that were going to come upon the world. And when you look at this, a time to plant and a time to pluck up which is planted. What do you do when you procreate? You plant seed, right? So you're literally planting. This is also indicative of a seed of human, of life. It's not time to plant seed, you know. It's time to. The Most High is about to pluck up seed, man. I mean, pluck up the plants, pluck up the 2/3. You Jakes into this tomfoolery. You heathens, you know. And if that wasn't enough, he tells us plainly in Jeremiah 16. If that wasn't enough, Jeremiah 16:1, the word of Yahweh came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons nor daughters in this place. For thus saith Yahweh concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented. Neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. So just as Yahweh told Jeremiah not to take a wife and have children in that time and in that day while he was in captivity, just as we are, he's telling us as well. It applies to us that we are not to take to have children and procreate in this place in this time of wrath. The Most High is getting ready to destroy this place with the sword destruction, with the just a vicious destruction. Where our dwelling place from time to time, from day to day, it won't be determined. Where our next meals from meal to meal will not be determined. Our safety, our freedom is not going to be determined. Right? So how are you going to what are you going to do for a child? It's going to be met with a gruesome end. As they say right here, they are going to get met with a gruesome death. A grievous, gruesome death. And on top of it, it's going to be a dishonorable death. Because what do you do when our dead, what do we do with our dead? We bury them, right? You bury them, you go through the proper burial and grieving process and mourning. They will not even get a chance for that. It'll be a very dishonorable, grievous death. As the scriptures say, and they talk about, they're just going to be bodies strewn across the land, from one land to the next, and up to the horse's bridle. Blood up to the horse's bridle. There's just going to be dead bodies strewn across the streets and across the land, and including your children. And that's not to say, and let me end it off with this, that's not to say that the Most High is not going to deliver certain children of certain men, certain members of the elect. But the scriptures tell us explicitly about procreation, having children, and the end times, the day of wrath, destruction. Right? So with that, shalom.